Cimoooooooo! What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. So today I'm bringing to you a discussion on Jet Synchron and if this card should be banned on the upcoming June 2020 ban list. So there's a lot more moving pieces here, and we'll discuss those towards the latter half of the video, but I first want to talk about how we got to this point in the first place, because we're discussing Eldritch and the evolution of Eldritch throughout the past month, since it's pretty much been at the forefront of the competitive format. So Eldritch kind of started off just being this pure deck that just incorporated pretty much almost all of the Eldritch cards, and then slowly started to incorporate more cards because it has a free flex spot being its normal summon, because Eldritch doesn't really normal summon anything. So that was when people gravitated to Alistair the Invoker and throwing in the Invoked package, because Golden Lord happens to be light. You've got a lot of interesting synergies there, and that's how Invoked Eldritch was born, and that's what a lot of people were on. There was also Lightsworn Eldritch, which was nice because Charge of the Light Brigade would help mill some of your cards to the graveyard, so if you hit any Eldritch spells, you basically just got the plus off of that. Also, Raiden is a tuner, which meant you had some sort of needle fiber synergy there. There were some pretty cool things you could do, but now we've moved on to Jet Synchron being the focal point of a lot of these combos, and the amount of explosivity that Jet Synchron provides to this deck is completely unparalleled. I mean, this is obviously due in part to cards like Crystron Needle Fiber, Crystron Halley Fibrax, and also the newly released Link Cross in Eternity Code, but some of the combos that this deck is able to perform are absolutely absurd, and so I wanted to go ahead and demonstrate a few of these combos today for you guys so you can understand how these combos work and judge for yourself whether or not you think these combos are unfair. So before we get into it, I do want to let you guys know that if you're looking to compete in some awesome tournaments, we have the Pro Play Tour Weekend Championship taking place this weekend and every weekend while we are under stay-at-home orders. There's a huge cash prize pool every weekend available, so there's really no reason you shouldn't be competing. Be sure to click the link down below and sign up today. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get over to some of these combos so we can explain the intricacies of each of them. So we're going to be gradually starting off with some of the more basic ones and getting to some of the more ridiculous ones as we move forward here. So each of these combos just simply requires a copy of Jet Synchron and any card in your hand that you can discard for Jet Synchron's effect. I've specifically highlighted tuning here because why tuning's unique is that it can search Jet Synchron, so it's like you're playing 6 copies of Jet Synchron, and that's one of the reasons why this combo rather is so consistent, because you're just able to access it with such ease. And if you get this, you still have everything else in your hand to work with. Not to mention, if you're playing Eldritch, if you discard like an Eldritch card, that's going to most likely be able to convert into advantage regardless, so you don't really lose any card advantage most of the time when performing this. I just wanted to show that even if you have a card that technically does nothing, how much advantage you're going to generate off of that lone copy of Jet Synchron. So this first combo is going to start by normal summoning a copy of Jet Synchron. We're going to link that off and go into our Link Karibo. The majority of these first combos are going to look very similar, and then they're going to deviate in different ways. Next, we're going to use the effect of our Jet Synchron, pitch our blank card in our hand, resurrect the Jet Synchron, and then link both of the Jet Synchron and the Link Karibo into a copy of Crystron Halley Fibrax. Now, the Jet Synchron should be banished. I just wanted to get this video together, so I did forget to banish it, but bear in mind, you won't have that Jet Synchron anymore. That does kind of matter. So, Crystron Needle Fiber is going to be summoned to the field. Using the effect, we're going to summon Deskbot 001, which is a tuner from our deck to the field. Now, this does specifically matter. You're going to see why a little bit later on if you're unfamiliar with this combo. And now what we're going to do is we're going to link off the Crystron Halley Fibrax into a copy of Link Cross. And this is where things start to get even more ridiculous if they haven't already. Link Cross can then use its effect to summon 2 tokens to our field. These are level 1 tokens, and they're going to be important for doing a lot of the deck's plays. From here, we can actually synchro our Deskbot 001 and one of the tokens for a copy of Formula Synchron. And on summon, this card allows us to draw a card. So we've already drawn a card here. Again, the drawing, whatever you draw doesn't matter. We're just showing the pure advantage that this deck provides. Now what we're able to do is, we're able to use the effect of our Link Karibo in Graveyard, remove our level 1 token, and bring Link Karibo back to the field. We can then link off the Link Karibo and the Link Cross for a copy of Barricade Board Blocker, which happens to be a machine, if this card wasn't good enough already, right? And because both of these cards are machines, we can now link both of those off for a copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. And this is where all the magic is going to happen. We're going to summon 3 tokens to our field per Auroradon's effect, but we're also going to trigger the effect of our desk bot in the graveyard, which if 2 or more machine monsters are special summoned at the same time, we get to special summon this card in the graveyard. So now we're going to use the second effect of the Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon, tributing itself and one of our tokens to get out a copy of Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion from our deck. From here, we can go off and take the O-Lion as well as both tokens to make a copy of Borreload Savage Dragon. This is going to trigger both the Savage Dragon and the O-Lion. O-Lion's going to give us another token, and the Savage Dragon is going to equip Auroradon from our graveyard, giving it 3 Boral counters and also a significant attack boost. We get the token summoned off of the O-Lion, and now we have a level 3 non-tuner and a level 1 tuner. That's going to allow us to make a copy of Herald of the Arclight, and that's really where the combo ends. And then we also, keep in mind, have 3 other cards in hand. So just off of that 1 Jet Synchron and a lone discard, we were able to basically end on what? A negation, a second negation, also a floating dimensional fissure. So if your opponent has any graveyard-based deck, it's going to pretty much lock them out, and you're going to draw a card and have 3 other cards in your hand. So effectively, in terms of card advantage, you went +1 overall, but again, if you discarded an Eldritch card, that's going to convert into advantage later on as well. You can send this Auroradon to the graveyard to get Golden Lord back to the field if you pitched a Golden Lord, so like that technically counts as card advantage in that means, so it's kind of like half a card if you want to think of it that way. So that right there, just from Jet Synchron, seems pretty good, right? Doesn't seem like overly broken, but like having 1 card convert into 2 negations, a floating dimensional fissure, and draw you a card already seems very powerful. Now let's get into the second combo here. So again, starting with the exact same cards, and now we're just going to go through the combo again, except we're going to deviate here a little bit differently. So the first part of the combo is going to look very similar. We're going to go into Jet Synchron, link off into Linkuriboh, pitch our card, bring Jet Synchron back to the field, then take both of those and go into Crystron Halifibrax. Again, Jet Synchron should be banished, but I was trying to do this in a hurry just so we could get these combos together. Crystron Halifibrax is going to summon Despot 001 from the deck, and now we're going to link that off into Link Cross. Now, Link Cross is once again going to generate the tokens, and we're going to see, you know, we've seen some similarities, but now we're going to divvy things up a little bit differently. So we're going to get rid of one of these tokens to bring our Linkuriboh back to the field, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go into our Barricade Board Blocker. Again, you saw this in the first combo, but keep in mind, we haven't gone into Formula Synchron yet. Now we're going to take our desk bot as well as our Barricade Board Blocker, because they're both machines, go into Auroradon. So Auroradon, once again, is going to generate us 3 tokens. These are different level tokens than the Link Cross token, so bear in mind, you want to make sure you know which tokens you're using for your plays, because that will matter a lot if you are playing, especially either online or in an environment where you need to make sure that you're not restricted, you know, in like an automated simulator, for instance. This will also trigger the effect of our Despot 001. So that's going to get special summoned from the graveyard. I accidentally added it to my hand. Now we're going to use Auroradon and one of the tokens for the Auroradon effect, bring out O-Lion to our field. We can now go ahead and take the Auroradon token and the O-Lion and make a copy of TG Hyper Librarian. Boy, every time you see this card, don't you have some great feelings coming? So now we're going to go ahead and summon a token off of the O-Lion. We're going to sync the Despot as well as the other Link Cross token, because keep in mind, it's still level 1. And that's going to bring us into Formula Synchron. So we're going to have both of these effects trigger of Formula Synchron and Hyper Librarian and draw 2 cards. From here, we're now going to take one of our tokens and Formula Synchron and go into Excel Synchron, triggering Hyper Librarian again and drawing us yet another card. This just looks great, doesn't it? But we're not done, because now we can take the last token and our Excel Synchron, go into Borreload Savage Dragon, equip Auroradon, but also trigger Hyper Librarian and draw ourselves yet another card. So at the end of this combo, we're going to have 1 negation. Hyper Librarian is going to survive, but look at the amount of cards we have in our hand here. So effectively, this combo was what? We have 9 cards in total, so this was a +4 from this 1 card, effectively allowing us to do all of this. And again, keep in mind, this is just the bare minimum. You're going to be able to generate more advantage in addition to this. This is just showing what Jet Synchron can do just by itself. But you thought that was the end. We are not done. Now, thank you to Luke Parks for sending me this one, because this one, you know, the draw 4 is already pretty good, right? But there's something that we can do that's even better and probably more devastating than that. So we're going to go into this third and final combo here. Starting off with Jet Synchron, again, this part of the combo is going to look very familiar. Go into Linkuriboh, bring back the Jet Synchron. I think I actually banished the Jet Synchron this time. Hey, there we go. We're going to go ahead and go into Needle Fiber. Needle Fiber is going to get Desk Bot, and now we're going to go and go into Linkross. So again, this part of the combo very similar, and you're going to see this a lot for as long as this format stays the way it does. Linkross is going to summon out both of its tokens, and then we're going to go and take the Desk Bot and one of the tokens and go into Formula Synchron. So this looks a little bit like the first combo now. We're going to get a draw off of this formula, but you're probably not going to guess where this is going. So now we're going to take this other token, get our Linkuriboh back to the field, remove Linkuriboh as well as the Linkross to go into Barricade Board Blocker, and then go into Auroradon. So again, this is very similar to the first combo, but it's going to deviate significantly, and you're really not going to expect where this is going. So Auroradon hits the field, we're going to get our 3 tokens. Despot 001 is going to trigger in the graveyard, so that way we get to special summon that back as well. We're going to use the effect of Auroradon, tribute itself and one of the tokens to bring out the O-Lion, and now we're going to use one of our tokens and the O-Lion to go into Garden Rose Maiden. Now this is a level 5 synchro that's generic and basically is going to be a key part of this combo here in a little bit, but for the time being, keep in mind you do have to use this card. So we get a token off of O-Lion, which is another level 3/4 fodder. Despot 001 and the Garden Rose Maiden are going to sync into Coral Dragon. Now, this doesn't matter too much, but if it's sent to the graveyard, if it's synchro summoned, we get to draw a card, so that's pretty nice, right? We're gonna send Coral Dragon and one of our level 3s to the graveyard to bring out our our Ravenous Crocodragon Archithiest. Now, this is a brand new card from Eternity Code. The only important part of the text here for this video's purposes is if this card is synchro summoned, you can draw cards equal to the number of non-tuners used for its synchro summon. We used 1 non-tuner, so we get to draw a card, but also since Coral Dragon was sent to the graveyard, if the synchro summon card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. So we get to stack a chain and draw 2 cards off of this summon of the Crocodragon. So there we go, gonna draw our cards. Now what we can do is we can use the effect of Garden Rose Maiden in the graveyard, which says you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Rose Dragon monster or a Dragon Synchro monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use each effect once per turn. So we're going to banish it. Guess what? Coral Dragon happens to be a Dragon Synchro monster, so we're going to bring that back to our field, and then we can use Coral Dragon, since it's a tuner, with one of our other level 3s, and go into yet another level 9 synchro, which in this case is Vermilion Dragon Mech. But guess what? We have 2 level 9s on the field now. We can overlay both of those into True King of all calamities. So we took Jet Synchron, turned it into one of the most broken rank 9 Xyz monsters in the entire game, basically locking our opponent out of being able to play whatsoever, and we have 6 cards in hand total. So we only went +2 in terms of card advantage, but ending on a calamities basically should end the game in most instances. And again, that's just the bare minimum. You are able to get even more advantage in addition to this, depending on what you discard or what other cards you use throughout the duration of your turn. But this is where the ceiling of this combo is just going through the roof. This is frightening, right? Jet Synchron being able to do all of this definitely seems unfair, but is it the main perpetrator? That is the question. So a lot of people might think, okay, well, you could look to Crystron Halifibrax because that's pretty much something that's enabling all of this all together to happen. Linkross is another offender here. Some people might argue Auroradon is way too strong for its own good. Sure, you can't link summon after you use it, but who cares when you can go into Synchro and Xyz monsters and go into crazy stuff like this, get an absurd amount of card advantage, or basically go into a game-ending threat on turn 1. Whatever the case may be, I think a lot of people might want to look to like Firewall Dragon in the past, where what Konami used to do was they would ban all the cards around Firewall Dragon instead of actually hitting the problem card. And I don't want to see what happened to Firewall Dragon happen to any of those cards, because they need to take out the main threat. The main threat here is like Needle Fiber or Linkross or Auroradon. Those are the key threats here, and those are what are going to continuously persist in all of these different combo decks and need to be addressed in some way. So Jet Synchron, while yes, it could have a target on its back for the June 2020 format, I definitely think it's something that should be secondary to everything else that that is going to be the primary offenders moving forward if we want to see any semblance of a healthy game moving after June. So guys, those are just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. If you think Jet Synchron's the offender here, if you think Needle Fiber, Link Cross, Auroradon, or maybe some other card needs to go on the upcoming ban list, I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you found this video informative, consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member. Just by showing your support in any way that you can, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. So thanks so much again, and we'll see you next time.